The Saints have the ball, get going, get that free flow and join in the offence.
Here we go. The first bounce from Marvel Stadium. It is the Dogs and Saints Saturday night football. Enjoy the first quarter.
Saturday night football round 2. The Dogs needing a bounce-back performance. They take on the Saints. English the tap, McRae the rove. He's tackled, dispossessed. Marshall, his hand pass knocked down by English. Steele over it. He's tackled, ripped away by Gresham. Kick smothered. Marshall belts it forward and does so cleverly. Gresham kicks inside the 50. In front, Caminiti couldn't take the mark. At ground level, they get dangerous. Hill over the top, miss Phillipou, but he gathers, he snaps, and Phillipou puts through the opening goal of the game. Well, we saw the poise last week. We've heard about the work ethic. Robert Harvey likening it to what he saw from Scott Pendlebury. We're also seeing the rewards of that hard work as he instantly makes an impact at the AFL level. Outstanding.
We saw this at times last week from the Saints. Surge footy, that is a clever tap by Marshall, out to Gresham, and then just hunting after the footy. Great attack once by Phillipou, then got involved again. Classy finish. Great start by the Saints.
Son of Sam, who played 3 games for the Dogs in '95. Here's Gresham. Can they make it 2 on the bounce, the Saints? Lovely sort of a ball forward from Ross, who's the in this week. Bouncing over the top in the end. Crozier, one of the ins for the Dogs. Handball, too slick. Chance for Mason Wood. Walks back onto the right. Loves his left. Owens, can he get a second for the Saints? Off to a fly. You sense this youthful enthusiasm may well become infectious. Phillipou, then Owens. Between them coming into tonight, 9 games as Saints. 2 goals early going on a Saturday night with the roof closed at Marvel, and the Dogs getting slapped around early.
The Bulldogs have only touched the ball twice. It's all St Kilda at the moment, and it's just surging forward. Mistakes are happening now because of the pressure. Mason Wood with really good balance and awareness to bring it back inside, and Owens, great finish.
Dogs need a clearance. St Kilda free kick in the ruck. Marshall started very brightly here. Feeds Crouch. Hand pass to Wanganeen-Milera, back to Marshall. He's pushed as he kicked, and attacking it hard for the Dogs was Scott.
I don't reckon Crouch needs to call for that handball there. I reckon Marshall, the way this game started, just pump it inside forward 50, long and deep, and make the Dogs defenders nervous.
Darcy had a run at it. Got it to ground level. Garcia dragged down by Stocker. Let's go down to Daisy Thomas and Liam Jones. Good to go, Days.
Yeah, he's back up on his feet. Popped some friendly fire again in that first contest last week. Tonight it was an opposition player in Phillipou. Just slow to get to his feet. Doctor and physio both went out to him. He waved them away, but they are having a look at it on the bench as we speak.
Marshall front spot against English. Somehow, with the muscle, got boot to ball round the corner. Dale in front of Owens, the last goal kicker for the Saints. Phillipou got the first, went 10 in last year's draft, the South Australian, to Bruce, who's become a defender. Now to Jones, who Daisy Thomas was just speaking of. Short ball to Crozier.
Saw this from St Kilda again last week, just the ability to get back and set up really well defensively and just force the longer kick. And get a turnover and then perhaps look to go fast from here if the option presents.
Captain Jack looks inside. Couple of leads ignored. Now into the pocket, Jones. It wasn't he, it was Bruce, and Bruce in the end took care of things. Spoke about Bruce last week. Went to the coaches and said the forward line may look a little different in the future, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be a regular. Can I play a defensive role? There they said, let's try. So far, so good. Anthony Scott, defensive side of the wing. Ignores the captain. Short to Crozier, who goes short and misses Bontempelli again. Little chance for Burns. Has help around the place. Stopper, a new face at the Saints. An old face who's returned.
He's without hydration too tonight by the looks of things. Ross is not taking any risks in the commentary box.
Apparently the IT team had a word with him. Stop putting cans of Coke through the computers.
Bontempelli, Riley West crashes the pack. It gets to the back. Battle and Darcy are there. Darcy, the strong tackle, brings Battle to turf. A boundary throw in.
Love that from Sam Darcy. Just got to find a way to get into the game early on as a key forward. Sometimes the best way is just lay a tackle, feel that body contact, feel the contest, get you up and going.
Norton goes against Marshall. Marshall edges him out. Knocked to the back. Wanganeen-Milera knocked off it by Ugle-Hagan, who gathers his court. That's holding the ball. And the Saints come away. Burns and Hill combine. And Burns on the angle. What a kick into the middle. Phillipou. He goes long. Not a great kick. And Jones intercepts for the Bulldogs.
No, that was just a rush of blood by Phillipou to go quickly there. It was good setup though initially, wasn't it? Burns with an outstanding kick, but this is the Dogs' opportunity to go fast. When they get a quick turnover in the ground spread, they've got to go back through the Saints.
Jones, Bruce, Liberatore, McRae, Williams, Dale. Almost runs out of room. Off to Norton, retreats to Bailey Williams. It's it long towards half forward. In the end, Battle. Happy just to knock it over and concede. Saints, 2 quick early goals. Dogs still looking for a score. Luke Beveridge looking concerned.
I said during the week that the performance against Melbourne, it was their ball use that really let them down, and already evident tonight they've been a little bit off. The Western Bulldogs. Free kick here to the Saints.
Stand, time.
Marshall with the free kick. Goes as far as he can to a pack of 4, and rising Caminiti pulls it in. He wants to wheel and go. Philippou's there in the pack, but up goes Crozier. And he breaks it down for the Dogs.
To Richards. Short to Bailey Smith. Dicey ball. Ross intercepts. Now there's a lot of spread. The man that's chosen over the top is Gresham. The Saints playing with enthusiasm and flair, and the Dogs at the moment can't get out of their own way.
Well, Al, you just brought up the Dogs' ball use from last week. Another example there. It's just a bad turnover anywhere on the ground, but especially there. You don't need to invite this man to sneak forward too much. As soon as he saw that that turnover was on, away he went.
Going to sneak it through, I think. Terrific finish. 3 straight to no score early going in the first.
Such a dangerous player, Jake Gresham. Whether it's around the ball or up in that forward line. The moment that there was a chance of a turnover there, he was gone, and the Bulldogs players weren't quick enough to get onto him.
As we see there, Bailey Smith trying to penetrate that St Kilda zone. Really evident down here that St Kilda are very happy to give up the lateral ball, really tight in that zone. So on that occasion, Bailey Smith trying to penetrate it. The Saints sweating on that, good enough to get the turnover and finish with the goal.
Thanks, Daisy. 6 clearances to 1 for the Saints, 7 inside 50s to 1, and 3 goals to none. Steele, Clark, left foot curler inside 50. They go again in front. Arms chopped. Crozier will receive the free kick. It's against Gresham.
And now just to highlight the dominance early going, the Dogs have only had 2 disposals in their half of the ground.
This has been a domination early. McLean caught. Must have just got a bootlace to it. Patton farms it up. Sinclair back to Patton. Takes on Smith. Gets his kick away. Almost intercepted by Daniel. He gathers, gives to Dale. He's caught. And pinged. This is very worrisome early for the Bulldogs.
They go forward again, wide. Wood to Hill. Hunter Clark hemmed in. Use of the ball on the left, not quite as he would have liked. Cordy, who was a goal scorer last week against his old mob for the first time. Won a premiership as a Dog in just his 11th game.
The speed of the Saints players to get onto the Bulldogs player is really impressive. It's trademark Ross Lyon footy. Just coming at it, squeezing straight away. Here's a chance, though, for the Dogs.
English without opposition to McLean to Bontempelli. On the run without breaking stride. The new Dog in Baker. Keith screams for the footy, rolls onto his left, waits it over the top, hopes for Bontempelli, crashes into battle. Bontempelli still down, looks to be in pain. Butler eases from half back. Down the line he goes, into the hands of Josh Bruce.
Should have got a free kick there, Marcus Bontempelli.
To the naked eye, I would say yes, Al. Just clipped him high accidentally in the marking contest.
Keith drives it in for only the third inside 50 for the Dogs. Norton over the back. Wilkie. Norton has been paid in front. And I don't think he thought he marked it. It looked like Wilkie got first hands to it. As Marcus Bontempelli continues to shake off the effects of that knock. Here it is.
1 metre inboard. Yep.
Accidental, but free kick should be there. Let's look at this one. Oh, yeah. Big piece there for Wilkie.
I think Wilkie plus Marshall.
Aaron Norton, can he make the most of the good fortune? No, he can't. The Dogs just don't look like they're quite here at the moment.
He still doesn't get his momentum through that kick. Aaron Norton with his set shot goal kicking.
Howard to Battle. And Battle's kick is an absolute beauty. Hunter Clark leaves it behind, needs to get up to Mason Wood, does. He swings in tight to Sinclair, who's got a couple of running options. Back to Hunter Clark. Towards half forward, full stretch, Cordy. Happy to go long towards full forward, just a little overcooked for the youngster in Caminiti. Chance for Butler, handball's back. Handball couldn't quite get back to Butler by Marshall, but Butler in the end picks it up, gets around a couple of Dogs, turns the corner. Someone needs to fly, maybe it's Hill. Keith uses his body well. Defensive goal square to Bruce.
Bruce, who played 99 games for the Saints after crossing from the Giants, goes through Dale initially, and it's Baker around the outer side. McLean couldn't take it. Battle involved in that contest. Sinclair comes back towards the corridor. Clark just pulls it in. He wants to keep it moving. Wanganeen-Milera, Ross. And now the kick from Sinclair into the pocket. Crozier up over the top to see it out of play. But this Bulldog defence is under constant pressure at the moment.
They are, because their midfielders just getting badly beaten. They can't find the footy. Libbers had only the one touch. Bailey Smith 2, Bontempelli 2, McRae 2. They just can't get their hands on it.
11th time the Saints have been inside their forward 50. The Dogs just 3 times so far in 13 minutes of football. Daisy.
Liam Jones has gone down the race. Doctor came out to him after reviewing that vision, taking him down the race for concussion protocols.
Thanks, Days. Liver back towards English. Knocked down in the end by Phillipou. Quick kick at goal, just floats towards the pocket. Keith against the youngster Caminiti, who's a fabulous story. Here's the Liam Jones incident here.
Same and Tim, same again.
To the left knee of the youngster Mattaes Phillipou. Cordy and English. Cordy fairly agricultural in the end. English waiting for the whistle, didn't come.
It's a free kick, isn't it? Tim English is asking. I would say the answer to that is yes, Tim.
English with the height, puts it to a little space. Giray muscled out it by Crouch. Liberatore doing what he does so well. Wins the hard ball, puts to space. No Dogs there. The Owens ball ricochets back over the boundary line. We'll get to the Caminiti story at some point when the football slows down, but second outing as a Saint after being overlooked in a couple of drafts. Cordy wrapped up, broke his fibula, a muck update school, missed the draft. Some average footballers, he says, in his last TAC Cup year, missed the draft, training with the Blues VFL side. Saints said, come and have a couple of practices with us. Suddenly, pre-season pickup.
Ross
Second game tonight.
Squaring ball, up they go. No mark taken. Higgins shoots it out. Daniel rolled off it by Clark. Still alive for the Saints. Keith is able to lock it up. And there is Caminiti in over the top of him. He was working in a cafe and in his uncle's steakhouse, and now he's out there playing for the Saints. English runs into Owens and Crouch.
And St Kilda are trusting they can put so much pressure around the ball at the moment. They've got one spare back, so even if Dogs have to quick kick it out, Saints will probably get a turnover.
Liberatore does just that. Garcia, young West Australian, in for his first game of the season. Scott couldn't take it. Bontempelli in battle. Patton goes in hard and low. Shoots it out the back to Marshall. Releasing hand pass. Sinclair wants the obliging bounce near the boundary. Great smother, McRae. McRae, did he get one high? Umpire might have some determinations to make here. Instead, he decides he'll have it himself. Jack McRae, just the 2 disposals so far.
Daisy just on an unexpected win and then a quick start in the first quarter of the second week. Things can change quickly for a club and the confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see here the Saints just hunting and outnumbering, really confident in the ball use and within each other, whereas the Dogs still look a little bit timid with the way they're moving the ball.
Richards from halfback with run and dash towards West. Doesn't quite have the height. Little chance. The Saints through Stocker. Towards Patton. Battle. Did well, and the handball came unstuck, but again the Saints have got the numbers. Patton to the captain instilled, back to Howard. Kick has to be good, finds Hill. Phillipou runs through the middle, might get this from Ross. Over the top of Phillipou, but Phillipou runs, they'll converge and meet. Bouncing ball, Higgins. Watches on as it skips into the arms of Bruce. He turns it over, Mason Wood on his bike. Runs to about 60. Driving ball towards full forward. And the youngster in Caminiti.
That's what perceived pressure does. That kick from Josh Bruce. He's out, not under much pressure, with an option on and completely overcooks it. That's because St Kilda have had the ball in there 13 times. And those Dogs defenders are tired, feeling under the pump, and now just coughing the ball up, and the Saints are growing in confidence.
For his first goal in football, it'll have to wait.
He's making quite the early impression, Anthony Caminiti. Ross looks pretty relaxed. He's coaching Caper. No dramas. He's been doing it a while. Dale to the wing through the hands of Scott. Scott gives to Ugle-Hagan, hand pass to Bailey Smith. Daniel, Duray, back to Daniel, all under pressure, all risking overuse. Duray, brilliant kick. Ugle-Hagan on the half volley, he's caught. Big tackle from Battle, and they win it back. The Saints steal away to Stocker. Missed the target. Gee, they've got a taste for it, St Kilda.
This is harking me back to the Saints days of Ross Lyon when I used to play against them. The speed with which they're closing down the opposition. And Marshall copying a bit of a knock there. That wouldn't be a good thing, but they just, every time the Dogs handball backwards, they're onto them. Onto the next one, onto the next one.
Marshall, as a result of the knock on the bench, having some treatment towards full forward for the Dogs. Opportunity, can it mount to their first goal? Not this time. Wanganeen-Milera towards Ross, just waited a little too long. The athletic Darcy charged down. Got a hand to it. Ross recovery very swift and quick. Caminiti flies from behind, did well, knocked it forward. Burns, handball to Owens, now to Clark, back to Caminiti, backs himself. The youngster runs away from Keith, puts it in front of Hill. Needs to be a kind bounce, wasn't. Hill just needs to knock it towards Phillipou. And then the Dogs. Is it a throw? It is a throw. They got pressured. And suddenly the Saints, Lingy, looking for their fourth.
Yeah, you see here, just scooped up. Richards tried to do the right thing, but once you scoop it up, it's always going to be called. The Saints are hunting. The Bulldogs at the moment, Haim, still only one disposal inside their forward 50. The Norton shot at goal. So even if it comes in there, it's going outside quick as Hill improves the angle.
Off to the skipper. So Jack Steele, 28 disposals last week, didn't kick a goal. This would be a really neat little start. What a leader he has become of this football club. What a player he has become. The goals so far Phillipou, Owens and Gresham. And now the captain. 4 on the board. And a 24-point lead. Expect the unexpected in football, but I was expecting a ferocious bounce back from the Dogs, Nico. And unlike we saw from the Lions last week after being humbled against Port Adelaide. Been a tardy start.
Yeah. It's been quite disappointing from the Dogs, the way they've approached the start to this game. No answer for the pressure.
Would love to see the Western Bulldogs, when they do win possession back, now that they need to get some time in their forward half. So if you have to sacrifice your numbers, don't worry about switching it. Just take what the opposition are giving you. And at this instance, it would be sacrificing numbers long down the line, trying to win a contest and get the ball in your end so you can apply some sort of pressure to the St.Kilda defence.
Bailey Smith, can Ugle-Hagan take a mark? Wilkie fully committed back with the flight. Ugle-Hagan near the boundary. Darcy goes in. Stocker gets a hold of him. Well, this is a small win for the Dogs, given the trend of the game so far. A forward 50 stoppage.
Well, it had to come from the middle of the ground, Al. They've been torched in there, the Bulldogs. Bailey Smith got one out. They're down 5-10 in clearances, smashed in contested possession. It has to start in there if the Dogs are going to get their way back into this one.
Marshall down, Steele. Took on Liberatore. Will he be pinned? Umpire says mine. That's Stevic.
Rowan. Out of the way.
Darcy against Marshall, somehow to Bailey Smith. Liberatore didn't get a lot of distance with the right foot. So it bounces to a dangerous spot. West, a fumble. Never really gathered it, but pushed it towards Bailey Smith. His handball over the top to Liberatore. Instantaneously to Gresham. Intercepted, given to Crouch, and then Ross. Moves it forward on the left boot. Higgins just into the back of Richards. Ball tumbles over. 24-point lead is the Saints. Phillipou and Owens in quick time. Gresham and Steele followed. 4 goals. Fast start. Dogs still wiping sleep from their eyes.
When the heat's coming at the moment like it is from the Saints, the tendency is to handball backwards and find that outlet, but the Saints want you to do that. They're going to keep coming at you if you handball backwards. So the willingness to take the ball forwards, the key for the Dogs when they do win it, but not just dumping it long and high to their spare. You've got to be brave with a forward handball, maybe a short kick to break it up and get some overlap run.
Low kick from Wanganeen-Milera didn't hit its target. Cordy kept it alive. Liberatore, strong tackle on Ross.
Having said everything I just said, that's easier said than done, because naturally when you just feel all that pressure and you know you've got a teammate who's out the back in a bit of space, you want to give that one. You've got to fight through that urge to give out the back.
Cordy gathers, spins, hand pass just too far out in front of Phillipou, but he does get a hold of it. He gives to Steele, open forward line, he turns it over.
Stand.
And a needed mark taken for the Dogs in defence by Duray, who comes to Crozier.
Stand.
So Crozier, into his first game of the season, kicks to the wing. Wilkie coming late. McLean in front, almost pulled it in. Sinclair and West. Rumbles free. West caught, got it out. Dale caught, won't get it out. And the ball up.
And there's a difference in the game at the minute. You see there the Western Bulldogs win the footy back, but 3 Saints just converging on them right in front of me here. Their effort and intensity in this one has been absolutely unbelievable.
McRae somehow gets it towards Daniel, hurries the kick towards the wing, and then Smith runs into Wanganeen-Milera. Scott, look away handball. Wanganeen-Milera involved again. Darcy tries to work his way clear. Couldn't quite. Steele quickly to Butler. Check side will go as far as Alex Keith. The Saints kept the Dockers goalless in the last term last week. But again here, it's some sort of a defensive effort. Duray towards the wing, a beautiful kick into the arms of Oscar Baker. They've managed just the 1 point because the turnovers like that have really hurt them. The Saints will try and bounce just towards Hunter Clark, not the 15 playing the call, but no pressure, and did so comfortably. Wanganeen-Milera casually bouncing through the middle to Jack Steele. Over the top. Loose man is Brad Hill. Doing it on their terms at the moment, the Saints, to Liam Stocker.
And now the Dogs are just all the way back. They've got no one even equal with the centre at the moment, the Bulldogs. So the Saints can just have this ball living in their forward half.
Wilkie wanted Marshall, intercepted. Courageous Bailey Williams.
So Bailey Williams draws breath.
Well, that's the result, though, Al. You take an intercept mark, but you've got all your players back, so you can't take advantage of the turnover. It can only be slow from there, and the Saints are perfectly set up. Your only chance is a switch and trying to get a St Kilda player who's slow to shift over the other side of the ground.
Keith. Richards. And they find a way through the Dogs. Corridors closed down. Keith's working hard to present around the wing, but Richards is going longer than that. A one-on-one in front, Bontempelli. Got it to ground level, but 3 Saints around him. Battle to Wanganeen-Milera. He kicks it, gathered by Keith. Keith infield to Daniel. Again, a little stagnant. Now he pulls the trigger. Bontempelli seems a good option. Up he goes. Can't pull it in. He's there with Wilkie. Picked up by McLean. He took it over the boundary line.
76 minutes of game time since the Saints last conceded a goal.
Ross is back.
Ross is back.
And it's not by just all living back and flooding back. It's that they're actually coming at the Bulldogs. They're hunting. And what it's forcing is, if the Dogs do get through with a quick kick, it's going straight back to a St Kilda number, and away they go again.
Marshall hunts Bontempelli. Quick handball to McRae. Owens pounces on McRae. Steele floats it over the top. Marshall out of time on weary legs. The iconic look of Doc Zimmerman. His moustache alone at some point will be paid tribute to in a Hall of Fame somewhere around the country.
Need a lot of bronze for that statue. From the throw-in, English hacks a kick forward. Umpire says insufficient intent to keep the ball in.
Just an ugly kick, I think.
I think it was just a miss kick, especially he's trying to go forward.
Stocker to the wing. Big mark, Caminiti.
He's becoming a cult figure.
The hammer, they call him. He looks completely at home at the level. To half forward, Jones rises.
Devo can't get to the bench quickly enough. He's jogged down, already talking to the players.
Fine contested mark from Liam Jones. Ugle-Hagan pluck one. Maybe Darcy in front. McLean flicked up. The old Bulldog flick pass from McRae. Duray. Garcia's got 2 to beat. Wilkie went to ground. Garcia keeps it alive. And now a boundary throw in. With 22 seconds for the Dogs to try and manufacture their opening goal. They've been thoroughly outplayed in this first quarter.
Ross and Corey Enright having a look at the screen. Luke Beveridge moving magnets on the board at ground level.
Marcus.
Bontempelli, terrific tap work towards Liberatore, then he ran into a spot of bother. McRae, Bontempelli, bulleted to Bailey Smith. Time here for a Bulldogs mark and a late goal. Charging it at Darcy. Going to work his way through West. Hunter Clark just pushes the ball forward, goes back under his legs. West emerges, but the siren beats the Dogs. Quarter time, Saturday night football. The Saints defend brilliantly. The Dogs leave the quarter goalless. 24 points, the Saints at quarter time.
Fans will be happy at Marvel Stadium. They lead by 24 points. This is against a side who many tipped to be playing finals football in 2023. The Dogs, they need to get themselves back into this match. Here we go, the second quarter from Marvel Stadium.
Ron Marshall and Tim English stare each other down. Perfect bounce. Ball spills to the side and Steele quickly onto the boot. Hill was in the front spot. Handball, a couple of options ignored. Puts it into the Right forward pocket. Crozier intercepts ahead of Phillipou, who kicked the first.
Just got to give that handball, I reckon, Brad Hill.
2 runners.
Yeah, 2, and it just breaks the line. I haven't put too many feet wrong in this game so far, but that was a wasted chance.
Early fly in the end from Patton. No damage done. Giray out-muscled by Ross. Handballs to Wilkie. Steele. What about going back to Wilkie? Little sidestep was clever. Towards full forward again. Liam Jones got a fist in there. Spilt to Bailey Dale. His left foot just over the top of Giray. It lets the Saints back in. Giray strong with the tackle. The boundary line has the win in the end.
What is so hard to do against a team who is just feeling it defensively with the way they're coming at it is to try and attack from deep in your defence. That's where the midfield clearance has become so crucial. But straight away to start this quarter, the Saints get the clearance and it's living in their half.
Burns couldn't quite stop them. A clean kick with a tackle, but Wanganeen-Milera knew there was a runner. This time
Downfield free kick. Owens free kick downfield. Just here.
I heard the umpire, so suddenly Owens is looking his second.
2 metres to your left.
West just a little late with Patton.
1 more
Owens.
metre to your left.
Game number
Thank you,
9.
that's your line.
Looking for goal number 2. Started the first term in great fashion. 90 seconds into the second, but it just floats to the right.
Dale brings the ball back in. Pelly. Short lead is honoured. Liberatore.
Stand.
This has been the tale of the night for the Bulldogs so far. Where do I go?
It's a bit like that, isn't it? Like the dog caught between 2 tacos. Do I go left or right? Sometimes you end up with nothing.
You go quickly. Most dogs.
Stand.
Caminiti.
Play on.
A deep kick to a dangerous spot. Up they fly. Phillipou couldn't take it. Bontempelli the fend. Off to Liberatore. They try to work it out by hand. Daniel Sinclair runs interference, farms it up. Ross had a lot of the footy. His kick. Crozier knocked it down. Lands obligingly for Crouch. His kick partially smothered. Another look for the youngster. Another goal for the youngster. Mattaes Phillipou. Welcome. Well, this is quite something. Talk about building blocks for the future. He has come in and made an instant impression on everyone at Moorabbin. And he's making an impression on everyone at Marvel tonight with his 2 early goals, including the first goal tonight. 2 neat finishes.
Just great pressure causing this one again. Saints coming up at them strong. And then what about this finish?
Okay.
They have found someone very special there. Another great goal.
When you have Robert Harvey likening you to Scott Pendlebury, you're in good shape early in your career. Mason Wood to Crouch at halfback. Patton gives it a thump. Needs to clear Scott. Bounces towards the man we were just speaking about in Phillipou. Burns. Back he goes to battle. Just on the back foot. Hangs a little too long in the air. Easy pickings for English. So the Dogs need to get a wriggle on. Sometimes it gets late early in a match. 5-2 without score. Momentum needs to change address. Right now, heavily at Moorabbin. Ugle-Hagan wrapped up by battle. That's just how it's been all night. The Saints.
Because the Dogs just keep going to where the Saints' numbers are because they're worried about the amount of pressure. Even when they got control of the footy, the long kick down the line to the Dogs' key forwards there had the Saints outnumbering them. And Ugle-Hagan just had nowhere to go. The Dogs are rattled with their ball use, even when they finally do win it, which isn't often at the moment.
Burns sends them forward. Jones rises in the pack. Marshall's hand pass knocked down. Liberatore burrows in as the only way he knows. English. Daniel immediately caught by Steele, and there's no emerging from that.
Some startling numbers, Daisy. 21 inside 50s to 7, 131 disposals to 108.
Just clearly outworked all over the ground. And to Lingy's point, this is the problem you have when you have three big tools, because you look up and the habit is just to blaze away and kick it long to them. Unfortunately for the Bulldogs at the minute, the Saints know exactly where it's going, so they're sacrificing their numbers there. The Bulldogs have no ground representation, can't get their hands on the footy as those numbers indicate.
The Bulldogs under suffocating pressure, but Daniel with a clever kick around the boundary. He's able to find his target, Scott, who comes back. Keith wants to switch the play towards the dock side of the ground. He comes up the middle, though. Cordy spoils Jones. Jones gets it, though. Liberatore's caught. He went the fend. He just got the hand pass away. Bontempelli. Dale. West is good in one-on-ones. Can he take one here? Did he tunnel his opponents?
St.Kilda.
Free kick pattern.
Daisy, the key to so many sports is making your opponent feel uncomfortable. The Dogs right now feel uncomfortable.
They certainly do, and it's forcing them into error there. We saw in the back line they had the easy switch on. Sometimes you just have to take what the opposition are willing to give you, but they're now trying to force it, such is the urgency.
They need something here. Duray, low ball, Ugle-Hagan. Saints have got the numbers. Howard has a friend, didn't quite have time to find it.
Great work by Josh Battle to get back and help there. Just turn his body. That's good back line technique. Find the footy in the air even though you're caught out of position. Really well done.
English and Marshall. Marshall soft hands down to Steele. Crouch just couldn't quite reach it. Williams involved, so too Bontempelli. Quick slap towards McLean. Does well through heavy traffic. Back to Smith. Now Duray again. A repeat. Norton. Darcy. Not quite. Howard. Ugle-Hagan. Taken high, maybe Garcia. McLean back to Garcia. Saints again have got the numbers and might just come away with the football. Picked off by a man who uses it well normally, and this time he's offline. Daniel to the right. Another minor score, 5 goals the difference.
For Luke Beveridge, you'd be thinking now, what magnets can I move to have any impact in this game? I'd be thinking about putting Josh Bruce forward and then bringing Sam Darcy back. He's got the matchup at the minute, Bruce on Caminiti, so it'd be a fine one for Darcy there. Josh Bruce with the experience down there in the forward line.
Look at the contrast in the way the Saints move the ball out of defence. Stocker to Wilkie, Wilkie to the outer side. Higgins. Around the wing he goes. And up comes Burns to mark, and he moves it quickly. Hill wants to go for a run. Cuts through them. Caminiti can't take it on the half volley. McLean picks up, releases Smith, and his kick might release West. Well, they come in the other way with utter commitment is Battle. What a player he's become. Off to Wood. His high floater to half forward, and Phillipou can't put a foot wrong. On his backside, farms it up to Steele, and he hits the target of Higgins. This is relentless from St Kilda. It's inspired football.
I just feel like we're on repeat at the moment. Pressure from the Saints. Poor foot skills by the Dogs. Turnover, whack, back inside forward 50.
Absolutely brilliant from Josh Battle there. He had the one-on-one contest with Warley West on this wing. Chose to came off, but such was the urgency. Not only did he get the ball, but was able to get it onto another Saints player.
Higgins has pulled his kick. Is it coming back? Not enough. I mean, the scoreboard actually could be even more one-sided. They've missed a few, the Saints, that they might have got.
Luke Beveridge is just asking probably what exactly is going on. And the hard thing is they're always attacking from deep in their defence.
Yep.
Which, and the Saints are so good defensively at the moment, that's a really difficult thing to do. You're going to have to be bold with your ball use if you're going to get anything going.
So good defensively. They're approaching 100 minutes of football without conceding a goal. The last quarter of last week, the last bit of the third, the first here. Played 9, just ticking over 10 minutes of football here in the second. Through the legs of Mason Wood. Garcia wrapped up by Steele. Got the handle away to McLean. He missed his mark. pouncing on it. Hunter Clark gave it up to Bailey Smith, hacks it forward. Patton and McRae. McRae drops the football, and then three Saints just looked at each other. Liam Stocker said, "I'll take it." Works it to Gresham. Dre got a fist in there. That was important. Bontempelli gets himself out of trouble. Sends it wide to Anthony Scott. Bouncing ball for him to control. It's Kind in the end, just sits up towards half forward. Front spot Wilkie, helping out Battle. Patton got into a good spot. Around the corner he went. Wanted Higgins, couldn't find him. For a Saints fan coming to the season, there are some question marks. The injury list was long, is long. Right now, 5 others in. You're on good terms with yourself and your club.
It's funny what happens when you all work as a unit. One player moves, the next player just knows instinctively, I've got to cover a certain position, I've got their back, and away they go. They start understanding each other and trusting each other. It can do powerful things.
A skidder from Steele. Crashing in there illegally with Scott. Took the legs of Gresham and a free kick to the Saints. And the Bulldogs fans are getting all the more restless. Clark turns 24 tomorrow. Kicks to full forward. In front, unable to mark was Caminiti. And now he turns tackler on Williams.
Great follow-up. Second effort there, did not even hesitate.
Second gamer.
Cordy in English. Little chance for Butler. Never really took it cleanly. Hunter Clark tried to get boot to ball. Got pinged. So can the Bulldogs build from here?
Stand.
It's deep again though, home.
Yeah.
Keep saying it's just so hard to move at the length of the ground.
Bruce to Bailey Smith. Needed a second bite at it. So at half back.
I'm not sure about this just going back behind the mark, though. If they do take that mark, try and get a run from behind and a handball received.
Norton interfered with.
Well, here's their chance.
West.
Got to go quick.
And Ugle-Hagan, he'll be leading, trying to break off Howard. Wilkie trots back. Norton brings it across the ground. English. Overcooks it to Duray, and the Saints can hurt here on the rebound. Handball to Cordy, just needs to knock it further down the field. Little one to Owens, inside to Higgins. Caminiti is wide, he's ignored. Hill and Bruce, can Hill use his body? Gets back onto it, little handball back towards Gresham, has support. Owens looking for another, left foot, snaps offline. The pressure is relentless. As you mentioned earlier, Alistair Nicholson, 5-4, there's been 2 or 3 opportunities that could make a 32-point margin a little more.
Stand.
Ross Lyon could not look any more chilled at the moment. Bruce, it's anything but chilled in the Dogs' defence. Crozier is able to find Bontempelli. He's actually coaching the Saints, Ross, for the 123rd time tonight, so he equals Grant Thomas. Alan Richardson, 126 games, and way up in front, the great Alan Jeans, who coached the Saints to their only premiership. Baker. And now a chance. So Scott will go back and line them up and must kick accurately. Anthony Scott talked about roads to the AFL. His own road to the AFL was a difficult one. A must make. He hits the post. And that right there typifies the Bulldogs' night. Everything is just a little out of kilter.
Well, if they're going to build anything out, this is where they need to have some time in their forward half of the ground. They can't just let St Kilda work the ball down the ground and get an easy exit.
The former Blue Stocker towards Marshall. Ross, McRae did well, dumped it over the top to English. Bailey Dale, a spin and a give to Crozier. Richards just got the kick away. Phillipou was the tackler. Now it's Ugle-Hagan's turn. Can he get the first for the Western Bulldogs?
when you're trying to get your way into a game where you've been completely out of it, completely outplayed, you just got to look for little wins. And that contest there, close to the boundary line, is exactly it. Get a repeat inside 50, give your forwards a little bit of confidence to come at the ball. And now Ugle-Hagan simply must kick this.
That beggars belief, really. That's got to be mental, doesn't it, Lingy?
Yeah. And it can just sap the confidence so quickly of yourself and your teammates.
And when the scoreboard reads 5-4 to 3 behind, is there a different kind of pressure on your Lingy as you're kicking it going?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what the scoreboard is. You're not oblivious to it. You know your team needs it. And you just lean back and spray it like that, it does start talking very loudly inside your head.
Bulldogs have had only 6 kicks inside their attacking 50. All of them have been ineffective. Stocker needs to be a little bit careful. Owens. A driving ball for Phillipou to fly. Keith's hands were the critical ones in that contest.
And the other one for the Bulldogs, when I look at their midfield and we talk about how they need to get control back of this game, Marcus Bontempelli, the skipper's had 10 touches. Numbers look okay, but he's had 7 out of those 10 disposals in the back half of the ground. So the Dogs midfielders are getting right back now just to win the footy. They're not getting forward and attacking well enough to be a threat to the Saints.
Owen started all this as the unlikely ruckman towards Caminiti. Darcy terrific. Dogs needed the saving mark. He moves the ball on. Ugle-Hagan or bust here. Ugle-Hagan, end of his fingertips, juggles. His kick poor again. Saints at the fall of the ball. Pressure from Sinclair was good. Ross couldn't control it. Bontempelli towards Norton. Running back Riley West. He's thinking about going wide. Does over the top. Baker waits. Baker marks. Can Baker goal?
Oh, so much better by the Dogs. Came from a strong mark from Darcy down back. Then Ugle-Hagan, another strong mark. I know his kick wasn't perfect and it looked a little worrying, but at least they were being aggressive through the middle part of the ground. And Bontempelli getting on the end of it in the middle where you want him to.
Kicked a goal last week for the Dogs for the first time in those colours, and that is welcome too.
That's where you want Marcus Bontempelli getting the ball through the middle part of the ground, hitting up a forward, just forces the Saints defenders to have to come up the ground. They can't get set. And well done by Oscar Baker, sneaking in behind and finishing well.
And it's the first goal against the Saints in 99 minutes of playing time. Steele, penetrating kick out of the middle, Jones. He has just slotted back in. Williams. Can they generate a little of their own momentum off the back of that opening goal? Does it release the pressure valve a little bit for the Dogs? Cordy, Butler tackled by Dale, dispossessed. And the umpire will clean up the mess.
Down by 12 in contested possessions, the Dogs. Start with the fundamentals. Start winning that ball in close and in contest to get your way back into the game.
Stand, play on.
29 inside 50s to 11. Dogs have scored 4 times from their 11 entries. They've been completely blown away yet. Saints could have done a bit more damage on the scoreboard, but it is a healthy lead against the thoughts of most. McRae, can they get back-to-back goals here? Wanted West, Garcia over the top of West.
In the back. Push from the back. Western Bulldogs.
Big opportunity here for the Dogs. Let's have a look at this.
Come back on. Just landed in his back.
Only just.
That's okay. I thought you landed in his back.
Clark pleads his case. Umpires, as they generally do, win the argument. Garcia, one of the changes this week. Career goal number 8. Back-to-back goals for the Dogs. 19-point margin. Said pre-game, 20 minutes into the second quarter, Oscar Baker and Riley Garcia will be the only goal scorers for the Western Bulldogs. Have a goalless opening term. A lot of people would have thought it was the script that they'd believe.
What's going to happen from here? What else has this script got for us? The margin is only 19 points all of a sudden. And we know the Dogs, when they get their tail up, they can score in a hurry. English and Marshall. English the tap. Smith the clearance. It clears everyone. McRae's gone forward for the Western Bulldogs. He tries to shoot it to Norton. Free kick. Over the shoulder. Dogs free kick. McRae.
Well, the way they've done it over the last few minutes, the Dogs, is through the basics of their game. Let's look at that one. Yeah, just a swinging arm over the shoulder. Win a clearance. Even hack it forward. Jack McRae has been sent forward a few minutes ago just to be able to win some 50-50 balls in the forward line now with a chance at goal.
Talked about that tall Dogs forward line. It's not being called on much at the moment. McRae can't finish. And the margin is back to 18.
What have you loved, Daisy, in the last 10 minutes from a Dogs perspective?
There's been a real shift in the way they're running and carrying the ball together, and they're going forward out of stoppage and out of contest rather than that first quarter. The first thought was always to retreat, which allowed that frontal pressure from St.Kilda to come right at them. So you're always on the back foot. Just the last 4 or 5 minutes, you can see their numbers, their handballs going forward out of contest, and they're getting some good looks as a result of that.
Here's another through McLean. Long bomb to Norton. This to make it 3 goals on the bounce.
On your line. That way.
Not the perfect spot for a lefty.
Time off. Stand. Ross. Play on.
Superb finish. 3 in a row, 2-goal game. "99 minutes of goalless football from the St Kilda defence. 3 goals in 6 minutes of footy.
This is the shift in the game. When the Bulldogs get their hands on the footy, not just handballing backwards, taking it forward, going straight through that wave of the St Kilda players who are at the ball. And then that's giving their forwards a chance, just exposing the Saints defenders a little bit to some quicker ball coming in.
Liberatore's lurking out the back. And up and under to half forward. Scott Camp's underneath it, punched away from him by Stocker. McRae pursues it, should be aided by William Shepherd. He keeps it in. Liberatore waits, releases Smith. Key players getting their hands on the ball. One more here, it'd be handy. Ugle-Hagan couldn't pull it in. Stocker to Howard. And now Sinclair comes away with calmness and finds Crouch.
Big swing, Daisy, this next goal. Is it 6 points or 18 as we head towards half-time?
Yeah, it's massive, and you can feel the Bulldogs just lifting their energy on the back of that scoreboard. Some sort of nourishment for all the hard work. They've hung in there for long enough. 1 goal either way here, I think, would be both teams obviously happy with. The Saints for all their hard work, only leading by 12.
Marshall. Ball bobbles about Bontempelli. High contact. 2.5 minutes to play, and the Dogs push forward again. This time Richards, handballs to Dale, low ball towards Norton again. Flew Ugle-Hagan. Can he get there first and mop up? Got Baker, gets away from the tackle, onto the right. Under 2 goals. This didn't look likely 10 minutes ago.
Outside 5.
No, they've completely changed the way they're playing. They've done it well. Even Bontempelli then with the handballs in the middle of the ground. When he gave to Richards and he gave the extra handball, he was screaming and signalling, just get it in there. Don't overuse the handball and invite the pressure.
Wood, dangerous kick, picked off by West. English drifting towards the 50 to try and give an option. West goes short, well executed to Smith. He's just too far out to score.
Bailey Dale lurking here. Little chance. The Saints aren't onto it.
English the deep target. Smith will send it in that vicinity. English comes out. Can't take it with the one hand. A scrap. Ross in there. English around the side.
Thank you. Rowan, Tim.
One more here. The Dogs would really have a good hand in this contest.
Yours.
Ross's clearance. Phillipou nudged under it by Bruce. Dale collects. Duray got Crozier inside 50. Goes longer than that. Wants Norton to fly in the pack. Bontempelli went across the front. Garcia tenacious with his tackling. Wanganeen-Milera held up.
Rowan.
What a turnaround.
Bonds had 9 touches in this term, going at 100%. For all the hard work of the Saints, the Dogs pressing, try to make it a single-figure game. Marshall couldn't find Crouch. Smith couldn't find McLean.
Rowan, you take it as mid-time.
And the Saints now have just got so many numbers back. Even if they do win the ball, it's going to be 3v5 with a quick kick out. So Dogs, even though 40 seconds to go, with a quick kick out, they might be able to get a repeat inside 50.
Marshall just got an important hand onto it. Looked like he was about to go under, and Ugle-Hagan was about to steal the football. So big 30 seconds coming up before half-time.
Pulled out of the ruck by Marshall, clearing ball. One-handed Dale, taken out by Higgins. Free kick to the Western Bulldogs.
Time off. Stand.
A cluttered forward line. He's going to set it up for one of those key forwards to rise and try and mark. Bontempelli was there. Scott near the boundary. Ross sees it out.
That's a big pack of players going for that mark, isn't it? That's in the schoolyard.
Absolutely. Markers up. I reckon that resulted in a lot of kids being late to class over the years. English in ruck, brings it down, dragged down. Free kick to the Bulldogs. This is an enormous kick. After the half-time siren, it will come. Tim English with the responsibility on his shoulders. In anyone's language, the Dogs look listless early on. In the language of English, they're now down by just single figures.
Well, look at the scenes at Marvel Stadium. The Western Bulldogs are back in this game, and it is on Saturday night football between the Dogs and Saints. Goalless in the first quarter. The Dogs have booted the last 4 goals of the 25 points in it, and there is a fair bit of spice and heat in this game as well. Let's go third quarter from Marvel Stadium.
Margin to the Saints. Umpire's bounce is perfect. English the tap. Liberatore with Crouch on his back, dropped it. Farmed up by Daniel. Sinclair tackled strongly by English.
Advantage.
A holding free kick. Advantage paid. Crouch to the edge of 50. Phillipou goes up to mark.
2 minutes back. Alex, 2 metres back.
I don't know that we've yet got much of an impression about the extent of this young fellow's range, but he's gone back with a look of confidence.
Total confidence, yeah. He's listed at 190 centimetres. He plays taller than that. The way he goes up at the ball and dangerous in the air.
He's kicked 2 tonight. He thumps it hard and long. Has he got enough? Oh, we're seeing something unbelievably special in this young kid. He's kicked 3 tonight. The Saints get the first, importantly, of the third term, and they're out by 11 points. And this talk about Ashcroft and others, rising stars. This guy's going to be in the conversation, it would seem.
I think we'll all just put this one in our notes. When it comes to range and set shots, he's whacked that. He's good on the snap. We've seen that tonight. And he's also a beautiful set shot goal kicker.
Kicked the first goal of each of the 3 terms tonight. First took 30 seconds at 47 to start the third. Gresham and Liberatore doing battle. Bailey Williams comes in to help out Liberatore. Bontempelli barks orders. Importantly for the Saints, they get the first of the third. Settle the nerves a little after the last 4, one after the siren. Through the Dogs to finish the first half. Steele has company in Williams, got the ball onto Owens. On the left, high up and under ball. Jones wrestles it away from the youngster in Caminiti. Down the line it goes. Mason Wood puts Bailey Dow on his back feet. He grabbed an arm. Hunter Clark to Hill. Now the Saints on the march again. Sinclair through the middle of the ground. A couple of bounces. Takes a little off the kick. Just too much in the end. Wanted Phillipou. Found a couple of Dogs. Jones and Duray raffled amongst themselves. Richards just.
Richards short, little errant, but cleaned up by Keith, and he comes away with conviction. Bontempelli through the corridor, perfectly weighted to Norton. Oh, what a transformation.
That would have hurt Norton there. A knee into the chest, I reckon, as he went to ground. Great kick by Bontempelli. Just watch this at the end as he goes to ground. Got to be careful there.
A little timid with the ball early on, the Western Bulldogs, but now they are playing with a real sense of intent. Norton there, you can see, and some discomfort. Can he find a second goal tonight and draw the margin back to 5? He can. We have a game on our hands. Physio just making sure Aaron Norton's okay. He's got his second goal of the night. 51 he kicked last season, Aaron Norton. Premier forwards in the competition.
The clear shift in momentum in this game has been when the Western Bulldogs have gone forward at that St Kilda defence and been able to turn them around. On that occasion, Marcus Bontempelli received that forward handball. Aaron Norton and all the other small forwards of the Western Bulldogs running back towards that dangerous space. Really good to see them taking this game on by hand and foot.
Thanks, Daisy. Phillipou kicks the first. The Dogs respond. Get it back to 5 points as it was at half-time. What a big swing that miss inside the forward 50 was in the end. They wanted Phillipou. They found Duray. Dogs moved it down quickly. 12-point swing.
Same again, Rowan and Tim. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, mate.
Marshall perfectly to Crouch. Kick smothered. In the end, the Dogs end up with a football, so Williams goes with an ugly sort of a kick towards McRae. Steps away from Wanganeen-Milera. Who's at home? Darcy at full stretch, not quite. Baker slaps it towards Darcy. Missed him. McLean swoops in. Handballs to Giray. Heads towards full forward. Norton's in that territory. Went to ground. Sinclair kept his head, went back to Battle. Battle happy to concede.
Right. Straight out.
Sinclair. Best and fairest. An All-Australian for the first time last year. Such a key weapon out of defence for the Saints.
Outside fire.
Now we see this contrast. Now they're a little safe, a little unsure.
Yeah, it was well played by Garcia then. He didn't even bother going to man the mark, just went with Sinclair to make sure he didn't get the ball back, so the Saints are forced to go slow.
Play on.
The Dogs can set up.
Cordy wants it at half forward. Kick goes in his direction. Jones with the great closing speed, able to spoil. He sort of sat 10 metres off his opponent then. He's very quick over a short distance, Liam Jones.
Rolling. Tim.
The Currumbin Lions. Back to his first AFL home at the Dogs. English. Garcia just missed McLean. Sinclair got the boot onto it. Garcia again just streams on through. Works past a couple. Bailey Dale doesn't quite pull the trigger and now does towards Ugle-Hagan. Norton runs back. Scott's pointed to space. Norton's chosen. He's lining up for his third.
Well, the shift has been excellent with the way the Dogs are playing. Forward at every opportunity. The only time they're going with a backwards handball is if they've got a clear runner who can use the ball well in space, just like that with Bailey Dale. And then nice forward connection between Ugle-Hagan and Aaron Norton.
A sleepy start by the Dogs, but a straight kick here, and they're back in front. Margin did balloon out to 32.
Wanganeen-Milera surveys things. That's a long lead, but the kick hangs in the air. Well taken by Mason Wood.
Stand.
20 disposals and 2 goals last week. Had a key influence in that victory over Fremantle. Goes to the wing. Marshall in front. English over the top. Couldn't pull it in. Got it. Good piece. Saints through Hill, and Butler brushes the first tackle and the second. Loopy handball to Higgins. Gives it back. Hollywood style. Infield kicks poor. McRae. Keith. Liberatore. Not a good hand pass. Owens goes through, loses it. Bontempelli. And now Crozier. A squaring kick. Baker's got to work hard to win this. Under pressure. Burns there with him. 3 points the margin.
Yeah, Hayden Crozier just signalling then to his forwards as he had the potential kick come up at me, come at and give a target rather than trying to go lateral and give an extra handball, and the Saints can then bring their pressure. The Dogs want to take the ball forward at every opportunity now to get through that wave of Saints defenders.
Transformation has been stuck. Suddenly the Dogs are the ones playing with such confidence. Back into the middle of the ground. Awkward ball for all concerned except Owens. Slid into his hand. Steal over the top to Crouch. Crouch needs to find a target, and that target is Cordy. Kicked a goal last week. Gets the jeers from the Dogs fans.
They forget the premiership quickly, don't they? Fans move on in a hurry, but that's what we love about it. And just a beautiful little lowering of the eyes and hitting up the lead rather than blazing away.
The loyalty from the fan to the club is forever, not necessarily towards the players. Cordy kicks and kicks a goal. His second as a Saint. They skip back up to 9. Arrived with There's 12 goals next to his name. Got a couple now as a Saint.
Here we go.
Crucial kick in the game of AFL footy. If you can hit that kick inside 50, well, find a leading forward, find a target. So important, given how well teams defend now.
Hand pass out of the pack from Crouch. Steele. They work it well. Marshall to Wood. Wood. Up goes Richards. And a free kick for a push.
Western Bulldogs. Got on contact.
Richards will have the free kick.
Stand.
Richards uses the short option. Bruce caresses it. Smith. Manned up well, St Kilda. Closed out the obvious route. And the ball turned over to Sinclair on the half-back flank.
She read that well, Sinclair. He was up defending an opponent through the middle part of the ground and just read exactly where that kick was going to, got back quick and helped out.
Patton to Mason Wood. And a big fly over the back from Jones. He's lost none of his spring.
Brave kick to Richards. Had to be pinpoint. Butt was lurking. Kick was good. Keith now. Works it over to West, but just floats over, out of bounds on the full. Wilkie will reload.
Gee, that could have been 50 then. West took that and then just let it drop when he knew it was out on the full. The umpire must have determined that it just fell out of his hands.
Stand. Play on.
Stocker dropped the ball in between two Dogs into Ross's hands. Now a chance. Up it goes Phillipou. What does the youngster do? Runs into trouble. So too does Baker in the form of a Higgins tackle. Phillipou looking lively. Got 3 for the night, 4 in his career. Bontempelli with conviction goes at the football, but not clean hands. Owens puts on the tackle. Keith tries to get out of the danger zone. Floats towards Stocker and battle. Garcia towards Ugle-Hagan. He wasn't clean. Wilkie tries to duck out of a tackle. West from one side, Garcia the other. Umpire will throw it up.
Great play by Wilkie. I know you don't get a stat for that, but just to be able to hold on to the footy in that situation, the Dogs had momentum running forward. If you'd spilt it, caused the stoppage.
Will had it, put it to ground. Bailey Smith pounced. Lots of Saints there. Norton got a fist onto it. Daisy, it just feels very different to the first half.
Yeah, it certainly is. The Western Bulldogs really hunting, and you see the changes they made in selection. Riley Garcia now leading all comers with 5 tackles. His pressure in and around the footy has been electric in this third quarter.
Dogs in attack. Flick to the back. McLean, Bontempelli, non-preferred right, kicks towards Darcy in the goal mouth. Howard gets back. His 27th birthday, really be on the winning side. The Saints clear it. Wood hits his target on the outer side. Butler.
Play on.
Told to go. Short pass was on. Stocker. Slow movement from the Saints. Had electrifying moments early. Kick goes over the head of the intended target in Owens. Higgins finds his target in Caminiti. Caminiti, deep, long. Philippou's there. Seen through by English. Every time the ball goes near Mattaes Phillipou, you think something special is going to happen. He's only playing his second game.
There is an aura about him, isn't there? He just joined us pre-game. Ross Lyon said Robert Harvey likened him to Scott Pendlebury, the way that he goes about his football and his work ethic. Free kick to the Dogs.
Mark's here. This is where the hold was. Time back on.
Good umpire foot. So that's where the hold was. Wilkie stands on the mark. Norton looks, Ugle-Hagan, Darcy, West. All at half forward. Intercept coming. So Patton read it brilliantly in the air.
Corridors on for the Saints if they can get it there quick.
Steele's pleading for the football. Cordy's going to end up with it. Cordy now. Over the top. Chance for Butler. Does it sit for him? It does. Can he get away from Baker? Pushes away. Check side, inside the forward 50, fly from Gresham. Ball to be won at ground level. Caminiti did well. Gresham will try and finish. Kicks towards goal. It falls short. All Dogs. English.
Now Williams. He's got Norton down the line and Darcy as well.
McLean's going to try and do a bit of work on Wilkie, but they're not going to go there. Switch instead.
English. Crozier comes away, releases Bailey Smith. He's kicked towards Riley West. Stocker and West. West manhandling Stocker. No free kick. Handball comes up to Wanganeen-Milera. Wood. Used his pass perfectly. Cordy's having quite the roll tonight. Clark feeds it forward. Crouch approaches the 50. Could have a ping. Didn't time it. Duray's not really got a good sider on this. Holding on free kick. Western Bulldogs. Bruce will have it.
Crouch suddenly got close to his defender and had to go the lob wedge over the top. Wasn't able to really take out the driver. So suddenly Williams at half back, searching for a friend.
They're getting the game back on their terms a bit, St Kilda, but their last kick inside forward 50 is hurting them at the moment. They just keep coughing it back up to the Bulldogs defenders, having to do a lot of work to get the ball back.
Pattern battle, Cordy, brilliant. Slips catch by Daniel. Moves it on. Liam Jones over the top. Thinks about Smith. Takes a step too many. Wanganeen-Milera. Suddenly the Saints have got numbers. Here's Caminiti. Kicks long. Crowd will tell the story. Bingo! If you don't like Phillipou, you'll love this man. That's a nice way to kick your first goal in footy. If you're a Saints fan, Nico, right now, you're looking at a couple of new faces that are putting a smile on your dial.
Completely. Talked about, Lingy, those injuries the Saints have had. Well, it's given opportunity to a couple of players Saints fans might not have ordinarily seen, and Caminiti is one of those. And what a finish.
I love the confidence too. Had Gresham there for the handball and said, "No, I've got this. I'm in my second game and I want my first goal." And didn't even look like missing.
So the Saints have kicked the last couple after the Dogs got within 3 points. Marshall from the middle. Helicopter kick. Out they come. Standing in front. Burns couldn't take the mark. Little hand pass from Baker to Keith to Baker. They're under the pump. Bruce has caught. Spun 360. And a free kick to the Saints. Used quickly. Clark to steal. Playing a blood rule here.
That there was a perfect example of what we've been talking about. The Dogs shifted, weren't giving the backwards handball, but now they forced it, and then the pressure just came. Huge pressure.
Rowan Marshall just making his way off here. Claret streaming from that left ear. He'll get patched up, be out there in no time.
Steele kicks to the pocket. Wood up in front, hit the back through the hand of Phillipou and over the boundary. The atmosphere is quite something here at Marvel tonight. The Saints fans very invested, as are the Dogs fans, as they have made the comeback from a long way back. 32 points at one stage.
Darcy not quite. Daniel wanted McRae. McRae to Duray, who's under immediate pressure from Ross. Saints have wrestled momentum back a little from the Dogs, who were flat-footed for the most part of the first and second terms. 4 late goals through Baker, Garcia, Norton and English.
Holding St Kilda.
Nick Foot saying to Sam Darcy, had a fistful of Owens' jumper. And as a result, it can be 3 in quick time. Cordy, Caminiti. Let's have a look here. Nick had a good cider of it.
I know people might argue and say that doesn't look much, but the umpire will pay that every single time.
Beautiful kick. Suddenly it's 22 points again. Saints have got the last 3. With that, Lingy, if you're pushing away with your hand but not grabbing hold of the fabric, looks very different. As soon as you grab the jumper in your fist, red flag.
The umpires always say they're looking for that sail of the jumper. Umpires look for certain cues, and you just see that jumper being pulled there. That's one of them. If the arms wrap around too much around the body, that's another cue they'll take, but they're going to pay that every single time. So a bit of a mistake from Sam Darcy. Nice goal.
Gresham. Besieged by Bulldogs. Liberatore and McRae. Onto him quickly. Marshall, another tap. Clark. Caught by English. Good tackle. Got it out. Toe poke from Steele. Dale under pressure, knocked off it by Phillipou. He's caught by Crozier. It rumbles free. Gresham ripped it free. His hand pass knocked down by Dale, who gets underneath the tackle. McRae, Crozier. Clever stuff in the middle of the ground from Stocker to keep it moving the Saints' way. Now Cordy, a beautiful kick. Gresham marks. This looks like it's in good hands for the Saints.
See, their pressure's good again. It's gone up another notch, just like it was in the first half. The Dogs almost got through. They gave one forward handball, but then they gave a backwards handball, and that invited the pressure. The Saints hunted. They created the turnover, and Gresham snuck forward again.
He's going round the corner from 45 metres out and hasn't hit that at all well. Going through Crozier. Tackled by Higgins. So now the Western Bulldogs need to find something again.
Tim. Play on.
Cordy beaten to it by Liberatore. Quickly to Daniel. Free kick wanted by the fans, not coming. Scott jumps out of harm's way, and then a couple of Saints jump on top of him. McComb looks like he's about to be injected into the game. They're not clear on who's coming off the ground. Ross handballs to space, puts Gresham in a good spot. Gresham now, dangerous kick. Crozier needs to be clean, tries to escape the Butler tackle, holds him in, sits on top. 20 out directly in front of the Dogs' goal. Das looks like he's in the second row.
Hands up for me, safe.
Not official yet. Cordy to space. Daniel gets there first. Ross given no wiggle room.
Thank you, guys. Straight up, please.
So the Dogs found themselves 32 points down. Got within a few points. Saints have kicked the last 3. And the Dogs find a second win. Gresham. Handball terrific. Mason Wood. 4 in a row to the Saints. Josh Bruce says touched. Watch this space. And as soon as a defender appeals, they do so knowing there's a lot of cameras about.
We saw Mason Wood kick 2 goals, both left foot snaps in the last quarter against Fremantle. Will this be confirmed?
As we have a look here, the snap across the body, the protests are for touch from Josh Bruce down there. Looks like the ball is staying in the middle. As you touched on, Sam Darcy's 90's done. He's gone to the back row. Robbie McCombs comes on, so that's obviously a tactical tool for a small down here from the Western Bulldogs.
English the tap. Bontempelli's hand pass was smothered. He goes again, the Bont. Gives to Liberatore. Liberatore off a step. McComb is the target in the forward line. It gets to the back. Sinclair glides past. McComb goes with him. Hand pass to Wood. Now back in defence. His kick out is beautiful, finding Wanganeen-Milera on the chest. 50 as well.
To the next umpire. Shot up to the next umpire. Stay out now, stay out.
He shifts in momentum tonight. All St.Kilda, then all the Dogs, and now the Saints again. The trend continues. We might be in for a thrilling finish. Sinclair, chip pass forward. A great kick, and Cordy, a chance to inflict more pain on his former team.
Gee, that was sloppy by the Bulldogs, that passage of play. The Saints took advantage of it. Look at this, just a lot of players standing back, retreating, not doing a hell of a lot. And allowing a pretty simple mark in the end to Zane Cordy.
Once a boy of the Bulldog breed, a father-son. How the times have changed. The Saints by their biggest margin. Cordy having a real influence as they kick 5 in a row, the Saints, and they are out by 34 points.
Old habits die hard. I just put him down in the Bulldogs column. Scratch it out.
He looked anything but a Bulldog at half-time. He was angry.
Sinclair, beautiful kick. The Dogs players, defenders, midfielders alike, were all heading back thinking that was going to be a long one to the top of the square. Just check the kick, hit up Cordy, and a nice finish for his second goal.
Marshall wanted Hunter Clark, bobbled about a bit. English got a second chance at it. McComb involved in that. He's come on for Sam Darcy. Sinclair, perfect to Hill. Towards half forward. A real advantage to any Saint. Crozier gets things going again. Bontempelli was chosen. Kick had to be absolutely on target. Saints were bearing in. Kick was good. Bontempelli ends up getting involved and getting it to Baker. Smith over the top. McLean. He's going to kick from just outside 52 or 3. In fact, he won't. He'll give it to Baker, who arches his back, heads towards goal. Umpire shuffles. Signals are behind. 33-point game.
That chance came because the Bulldogs were prepared to be bold with the footy. Some brave kicks. Got them a shot at goal. It's how often they can do that, though, amongst this brilliant St Kilda pressure. It's gone up a level again in this third quarter.
Stand.
The pressure's gone up, Lee, there's no doubt about that. But from a Saints point of view, they're also getting reward for effort on the scoreboard. 5 goals fall in that first half, 6-1 alone in this third term.
With composure, the Saints release Wilkie with a running bounce. He finds Wood. Wood's having a good quarter for the Saints. Finds his target on the outer side. Owens. And down low. The patched up Marshall. The 2 minutes until three-quarter time.
I thought he was signalling like he was going to have a shot then, Rowan Marshall, and try the run around, but thought better of it.
Clark, the switch. Ugle-Hagan. He couldn't, could he? He sits it up to the teeth of goal through the hands of Caminiti. Keeps it alive. Gresham. He flicks it back. Marshall. And now Hill. Hill on the angle won't have enough penetration. English front on contact against Higgins.
Front on contact. Back to the 9. Back to the 9. Come back on.
Another little hairy moment for the Bulldogs.
Stand.
Ugle-Hagan involved in it all, but front spot with the height. Marshall, Steele waited for it. Brilliant from Bontempelli. Suddenly the Saints, through Howard, push forward against a Crouch. Looks towards Steele. He's ignored. 2 Saints on the other flank. Hands in the air. Steele now chosen. 50-50 ball with Keith. Chance for Burns. Tries to rocket his way through. Handball to Gresham. Didn't quite make contact. Crouch Hunter Clark wanted Stocker. He couldn't quite gather it in either. Little chance for Scott to give to the skipper. Bontempelli works it into the middle. McRae now looks for a friend, goes wide, misses Ugle-Hagan. Bounce favourable. Tackle comes. First then the second. Pinged on the outer side. Advantage called. Little chance to pick up and give Dale. Boundary line, a friend for McRae.
Well, great pressure again by the Saints. 14 of the last 17 inside 50s have gone against Luke Beveridge's team to the Saints, and it's because they're just coming at the Dogs, charging at them, defending so well, creating turnovers, and then getting it forward quick.
Marshall rips it out of the ruck. Around the body he goes. In front, Caminiti belted away. Steele waits for it, gives to Clark. Clark, one last forward thrust in this quarter. The foot race is on. Keith. Higgins struggling to go with him. Keith sees it out. And the Saints, well, they've got something within them, this group. And they extend the lead back out to 33 points at three-quarter time. The Saints 11-5-71, the Dogs 5-8-38.
For quite some time now. I feel as though you've said this a while. They rack up the numbers, but it's their effectiveness with ball in hand. Here we go, the final quarter. What will we be discussing post-game? Huge lead for the Saints. It's the final term from Marvel Stadium.
2-0. They're in good shape. Ross feels the brunt of English, who thuds into his back. Next week for the Saints, their 150th birthday. Club was formed April 2, 1873. It will be against the Bombers at the MCG. Crouch to Ross. Floating ball. Keith watches it onto his chest. Crowded on the side of the ground that he's on. Chooses to switch. Bruce will roll onto his left. Happy just to go short to Richards. His left, he thumps it towards Norton, who crashes into the pack. Out the back hill, just has a hand from Scott. Stop what would have been the breakaway run. McComb on for Sam Darcy, who's been subbed out of the game. Windhager sits on the pine, still for the Saints as the sub. No need to change anything yet from a St Kilda perspective. McRae wanted Daniel, didn't find him. Hunter Clark loses his feet, rolls on top of a few.
Aaron, Rowan.
Just joined us. Mattaes Phillipou has 3 for the night. Cordy's got a couple. So too Owens. 2 for Norton. We're in desperate need of more. Scott to McRae to Bontempelli, who's tried hard all night. Here's a chance for Bailey Williams, who's 40 out directly in front. Just a man that kicks a lot of goals.
In the end, probably just a bit of luck. Sometimes you need that if you're going to build anything. And you've been outplayed for most of the game. The quick kick out, he just read it well. He's always been a pretty good kick of the footy. Distance not an issue from here. Just got to make sure he goes back and nails it for his team.
One last week.
Not like that.
19 his career, won't become 20.
Too late back on that.
Not going to have a lot of opportunities. We've only got 18 and a half to play. We need 6 goals to get in front.
Bulldogs 5 goals, 4 from set shots tonight. Sinclair finds Wilkie. Runner up in the Saints' best and fairest last year. Back to the corridor for Howard. Howard to the outer side, half-back flank. Hill
Play on.
wants to take on Jack McRae. He goes in the Cordy direction through the hands of Jones. Duray at the back. Jones into the middle. He makes you a little nervous. Smith rises, got pushed. Bulldog free kick. What can Caleb Daniel do? One of their better users. Norton's coming late. Got a hand to it. He skittled a couple, and now he turns tackler on Wanganeen-Milera.
Take your time.
Well done, Aaron Norton there.
No rush.
The ability to make a contest against 3 players. Hopefully Ugle-Hagan's okay, but just really committed himself so that the Saints didn't get an intercept mark and sets his team up with a chance at least from a stoppage.
Norton got a hand onto it. Crouch. One to the left. Kemeniti has got nutmegged in the end. English wants McRae. Liberatore. Duray. Scott from 55. Kick looks okay. No, it doesn't favour his man West, and then lost his feet. Battle. Won it. Moves it on. 3 Saints on the outer side. All work in convoy. Wilkie to Sinclair. Mullet flows. Kick is short. Into the hands of Cordy.
Outside 5.
Cordy couldn't have asked for a better night against his former team. Picked up as a delisted free agent. Gresham. Phillipou a deep target. He sends a low wobbler. And it's well read by Bruce. Keith.
So where Keith marked this ball, the Bulldogs have got 4 players either level or behind him kicking. So it means the Saints are going to outnumber somewhere on the ground. It's going to be hard for the Bulldogs to pick their way through.
Smith very slow to move the ball, but now he switches play. Duray. He's got Scott and McComb deep. He's turned it over. There's not a kick required at that moment. Hill, Sinclair, and now Kemeniti.
Saints have been a fierce opponent all night. Suddenly the clock becoming one. 15 minutes to play. 6 goals to 5. The Saints, though, continue to move the ball around. Sinclair. Down the line he goes to Gresham.
Stand.
Plenty of dogs about the place, but Hill read it brilliantly, took it cleanly, then puts it to a dangerous spot for Wood. So Mason Wood looking for his second, giving Luke Beveridge plenty of headaches and plenty to think about.
He's doing this really well, Mason Wood. He's working all the way forward with his opponent, who is Baker, who's trying to get back to help and defend. And he just ends up in a nice, dangerous part of the ground for that kick into the corridor. He's proven a goal kicker last week, so far tonight as well.
Always to the left. Good news for Saints fans. Jack Steele back on the ground after going downstairs and having some treatment.
6 minutes have elapsed in this last quarter, and the Saints maintain the 3/4 time lead of 33 points. Jones. Around the city side he goes. Not a lot of penetration on it. Scott edged out Sinclair, though. Couldn't keep the ball in play.
Al, you just touched on it there. 6 minutes being knocked off the clock here by the Saints. Really professional in the way they're being able to do that, but also marching the ball forward as they do, giving themselves the opportunity to score, not just having the ball pinned in their defensive half where the Western Bulldogs can build some pressure. They're just taking all the oxygen out of this one really professionally.
Yeah, there is no trying to save this for the Saints. They would have really leave a scar. Good mark from Crozier. Dale, he's got Baker breaking to the dockside wing. Here's his next option. Smith leads short. He comes laterally. Richards. English across the point of the square if he wanted to switch. He goes to McLean through his fingertips. Cleaned up by Patton. Clark, Sinclair, Owens. They look so composed here, the Saints. Patton. Out wide to Hill. He's got a few metres on Scott.
Steele. Gresham. He'll keep going. Daniel will keep chasing. Where's the tall timber? Nothing flying. Mason Wood on the left. Bounce, bounce. Post. Lingy and Daisy. 7 and a bit quarters so far this year for the Saints. A depleted list. They've only conceded 12 goals.
It's been absolutely brilliant just to watch how they've gone about it tonight, all on the back of that effort and pressure in and around the footy.
They're away here, the Dogs. McRae, Ugle-Hagan, gathered. Garcia, back to Smith, back to Garcia. The forwards flood back inside 50. McLean the first option. He's got Williams free in the pocket. That's a poor kick. Easy spoil there made by Howard. The kick did not advantage Bailey Williams at all. And again, like last week, Luke Beveridge will be ruining some errant kicking.
The Saints have made their sub down here as well. Ryan Burns coming off. Marcus Windhager just coming on to the cheers and the applause of the Saints fans.
Thanks, Daisy. Norton flies high. Bontempelli, desperate. Sinclair, equally so. Crouch, thought about Hunter Clark, just put it behind him. Bontempelli, was he hurled? Dogs fans say yes, umpires disagree. Steele on the left. Cordy got an important fist onto it. Higgins tried to trap the football. McLean chases after it. Keith too. Gresham muscles it towards Higgins. Didn't quite get there. Has a crack at it for a second time.
Rowan, Bulldogs right, Tim. Rowan and Tim.
Stocker a chance. A long wait for Caminiti. Bruce, Jones, they all go up. Caminiti kicked his first goal in AFL football tonight in his second game. Dale has to retreat a little and puts it onto his left in front of Scott. He's running with Hill. Patton gets there first. Scott tackles, sticks the tackle and holds Patton up.
Yeah, really well done by Scott, because the Saints were going to be out then. If Patton could have broken that one and got it forward, they had runners on. Important to nail those tackles.
Marshall palmed it onto his boot. Crozier hung in the air, couldn't pull in the mark. Good piece of athleticism, though. Dale towards Daniel, but cleaned up by Clark. Through Windhager and Steele. Sinclair short pass. Back to Clark. He wants to feed. Instead, he chips. Windhager takes the mark. On return from the broken hand, he hands it off to Crouch. Crouch to try and add the finishing touches. Butler on the line, can't mark. He's still a chance. Crozier valiantly managed to ensure it was only a minor.
The Dogs suddenly look out of tickets.
Yep.
They look slow and tired.
I agree, and I tell you what, the Saints midfielders are running past a lot of them to get forward. I think there's a few Dogs mids who are choosing, maybe if they're a chance to get a kick, they might put the foot down and run a bit, but if they're forced to run defensively, not quite as hard.
It's just obvious in that last patches of play, the blue jumpers were lagging. Saints push forward again, through a couple of fingertips. Caminiti can't chase the ball down. So the teenager making a good fist of this AFL football in his second game. Missed a couple of drafts, pre-season pickup, picked in the first round. Finding his feet. So too, Mattaes Phillipou. 3 for the night in his second game. Cordy, couple against the old side. Dogs at half back through Richards. Marshall, Wilkie, Norton did well. So Norton around the corner. Ugle-Hagan just left it behind. Jack Sinclair.
St.Kilda, advantage.
Manhandled, advantage taken. Not sure whether they're going to get too much advantage from this play. Garcia over the top to Ugle-Hagan. Might try and move it on, won't. Saints be pleased. Clock continues to roll.
Jack Steele's back out there with that right shoulder heavily strapped. We saw on that passage of play there, very proppy, almost dangling and just letting that arm hang when he had to put it down to try and get the ball. He's out there, he's brave, but he's certainly in some pain.
Minor score only tonight for Jamara. On the line, Ron Marshall, without any real opposition, gets a hand onto it. 34 the margin. Sinclair into Wilkie.
Wilkie to Howard.
Outside 5.
Looks like his birthday will be celebrated. Marked in style.
Stay out.
Stocker.
The Saints are happy to do this. They've got the lead. They've got the clock to their advantage.
Stay outside 5.
Just nicely keeping possession, working the ball slowly down the field, burning time off the clock, not even giving the Dogs any oxygen at all. Terrific play.
Into the middle, they were lining up, Lingy.
Yeah, really professional.
Ross to Marshall.
Stand.
This is getting a little easy for the Saints. Ross to full forward. Is there another moment here for a youngster? Owens, 3 bites, completes the mark. And Mitch Owens has a chance to kick his 3rd.
Brave mark, going back there with the flight and then the balance to be able to grab it right at the end. Well done, St Kilda, with their ball movement. Quality when they've got the lead. I reckon that clip might be in the meeting for Luke Beveridge and his Dogs players, though. That was just far too easy by the Saints transferring the ball.
And they're missing key players, the Saints, but those that are stepping up in the absence of them are making a name for themselves. Game high 40-point lead. Only 8.5 minutes to go. Owens joins Phillipou with 3 goals on the night.
Kicked the last 6, Nico. The last 6, 7 of the last 8. So since that run of 4 on the bounce, just the Norton goal.
Well, it appears as the Saints is doing as they please at the moment with the Western Bulldogs. But if you break it down, it has been the Dogs that have been chasing tail for the best part of 3 1/4 quarters so far tonight. They had that 10-minute period where they had the game on their terms, but the petrol tickets they've used trying to stay in touch with the Saints, who've been so well drilled and disciplined, is really starting to show late in this one.
4 goals in that 11 minutes, Daisy, that you talk about, and only 1 since to Norton in the 3rd. Maybe another here. No, the pressure continues. This time, Wilkie. Howard. Around the corner at his birthday. Bontempelli hands onto it. Ross kept it in. A couple of Dogs try and do the same. Can't. So a long injury list for the Saints, but they're long on belief.
They certainly are. There's a few of them there watching on. They would be wrapped with the way their team is playing. Hard, quality pressure and defence, but then moving the ball with some excitement as well, giving their forwards good chances.
Giving their fans plenty to get excited about. Caminiti flew, Crozier fumbled, Jones taps, Bruce the look away. West in trouble immediately, can't get rid of it. Owens, there's a couple come from either side. So what a start to the season. Fremantle heavily favoured to win the Ross Lyon Cup. Saints walk away with the win. They'll leave tonight 2-0. Essendon, their next assignment.
Liberatore off to Smith. Bontempelli strong in front of Battle. Measures his pass to Ugle-Hagan, took a hand on the way through. Garcia trying to get dangerous. Howard and Stocker. That'll be huge next Saturday night, Hamish. They celebrate 150 years of St Kilda Football Club. They've got a commemorative jumper that they'll wear with the high collar, similar to the one worn in '66, and they won their only premiership. Steel Sockers out of the defensive 50, coming to meet at Caminiti, coming to meet him Bailey Smith.
Whoever plays against them is going to have to be really brave with their ball use and sustain it. St Kilda have only conceded 33 inside 50s in this game. That is unbelievably low for a game of AFL footy, especially under the roof, good conditions.
And a Bulldogs midfield.
Yep.
Richards gets the ball back inside 50, 34th time for the night. McComb tackled by Patton. Garcia brilliantly to Dale. Dale looking for goal number 6 from the Dogs. The pressure again continued to come. Wanganeen-Milera this time. Windhager involved. Wilkie. Pick-up was clean. Off to Howard. Back to Wilkie. Wilkie. Touch play on the call. Almost out of trouble. Crozier. Umpire's whistle went, I thought. Is in the end. Crozier gets a free kick. Just saw Corey Enright sitting alongside Ross Lyon. If he's in charge of the back line, hat off to you. He is. It's his back 6, and he's done a brilliant job.
He has. Ross, I think, has really taken a shining to Corey Enright.
He was asked pre-game, who's your new pet? He didn't talk about the players. He said, well, Lenny Hayes, Robert Harvey and Corey Enright. Crozier.
220 wins from 330 games, Corey Enright. 332 games. I'm sorry. Same as Lee Matthews. 6-time All-Australian as well, Cameron Ling. What a superb player now. Clearly having a real influence in the coach's box as well. Wanganeen-Milera with a long penetrating drop punt. Caminiti edged out his opponent. Richards hand pass to Daniel. Into the corridor to Dale. Pursues it. Caught by Higgins. Arm almost pinned. English tumbles it forward, turns it over. Patton.
That's the example of their pressure. That'll count as an inside 50, but hardly should, because just under enormous pressure, dumping it straight back to the Saints.
They're able to find their targets. Gresham.
And Gresham just waving there. Just let's go back to some slower possession. We're in no rush. Got the game in hand. Just go into this style.
Outside 5.
Yeah.
Outside 5. Play on.
The good thing is when they went into this about 5 minutes ago, they still were able to score from it, and Owens kicked the goal. So it's not purely a time-wasting, keep possession type of footy. You can still take it forward methodically and get yourself a shot at goal, but burn a minute or so off the clock and just practice these good habits for other games where the scoreboard might be a little closer.
Wanganeen-Milera races out onto the chest of Caminiti. They've got there quickly. And a free kick downfield to the Saints.
50 metres from there. 50 metres from there.
So 50. And Caminiti
50-metre penalty, it's your shot on goal.
will get a chance to kick his second. So it's totally unravelled for the Western Bulldogs. Luke Beveridge has got more thinking to do.
50 metres from there, that's a greater advantage.
So during the week he planned to persist with the big forwards, the big talls. Seen Darcy subbed out tonight. And the ball use again well short of the lofty standards we'd expect from the Western Bulldogs.
Caleb Daniel.
So Caminiti, they call him the hammer. And he hammers it right through the middle. Points. What a performance from the Saints. Caminiti with 2, Phillipou with 3, Owens with 3. Where were the goals going to come from, they thought? No Wood, no Membry. These young players have stepped up superbly.
See what happened just at the bottom of your screen. Owens and Bruce. There's the high contact after the mark had been taken by Caminiti. So it was a 50-metre penalty. I think Owens was maybe thinking he was half a chance to pop through his 4th.
Saints have kicked the last 7 and 8 of the last 9 after the Dogs kicked 4 in a row to end the second term. It has been one-way traffic for most of the night, other than an 11-minute period where the Dogs got a bit of a run on. Other than that, they've been completely outclassed and out-hunted. Daniel floats one over the top to Giray, who dashes from half-back. Gets to the wing on the outer side, puts it into the hands of Richards. Baker a fumble. Outer side, that sort of sums up their night. So they've got a chance next week against the Bombers to go 3-0. Last 2 times they've been 3 and under, both under Ross Lyon. And each time they did, they played in the final game of the season, 09 and 2010. Marshall. Ball bounces around. Ross being good after going back into this side. Keith, the lighter frame, chased by Caminiti. So Daisy, break the Saints down for us. What have you loved? Where's it? Oh, here's Eric Banner. Daisy's not many more passionate fans than Eric.
No, there certainly isn't. He's getting a rupturous applause down here too. Look, the Saints, you just got to love what they're brought. Under Ross Lyon, we knew they were going to be drilled defensively, but it's their ability once they swarm, hunt and tackle to then turn that into an offensive play. They've exited the front of stoppage, the front of contest really well, and they've been able to score quite freely on the back of that. It's been really pleasing to see.
Smith on the dash. Norton the target. Couldn't mark. McComb goes to work at ground level. He's pressured. Smith keeps on going. Baker. McComb squares it up for Norton. The spoil from Howard effective. Sinclair arrived it, gave to Clark, caught by McLean. Hand pass away. Stocker releases Wanganeen-Milera, and he spies Caminiti. I don't think even Ross Lyon would have thought he could re-stump, rewire and replumb this quickly and get the Saints playing the style of football they are. This has been quite something to watch. Sinclair to Marshall. Ross to the pocket. Windhager was lurking. Higgins as well. Windhager picks up. He's caught. Dragged down by West. Sinclair wants to take them on. Keeps it alive. Was that a push? Dale sees it out.
Is he a chippy or a cobbler?
He's everything at the moment. Everything.
Done a good job, hasn't he? They've got some confidence.
If he's a Sparky, can we get him to the Gabba?
What a big performance it's been. Owens trying to set up another. He's kicked 3 himself, helped out at times.
Holding Western Bulldogs. Thank you.
Bruce didn't want to take the advantage. But from a Bulldogs standpoint, humbled last week against the Dogs. Fight back that we thought was coming. It was very short-lived. The quarter of an hour in the second. They kicked 4 goals. Other than that, they've found 1. Staring down the barrel of another goalless quarter. So none in the first, 1 in the third, nothing yet in the last.
And we've seen vision of Luke Beveridge throughout this last quarter, especially. Pre-game, he said the concern of last week was how quickly the D's were able to score, but yet we've seen it again tonight, so nothing's been rectified from a Western Bulldogs point of view.
Baker in the pocket. Possible angle, bouncing ball. Richards bounced off the head or shoulder there of Hill. Now he receives it, and the Saints come away again. Just continuing to repel. Ross, Wanganeen-Milera, and Crouch. And finds Gresham.
Goes to show what a team can do when they're all on the same page. They're all committed to what the coach needs from them. Saints are impressive in that area. After watching tonight and last week, you have to wonder if the Bulldogs are all on that same page. Just at times picking and choosing of when to really run hard defensively versus when they think they're a chance of getting the footy. There's a few questions Luke Beveridge needs to ask of his team.
English. Daniel squaring ball, dangerous one. Clark managed to spoil. McComb picks up, gives to McRae. Caught by Ross, gave to McLean. Slick hands back to McRae. Too clever and funky with his handball though. And they come away, the Saints. Crouch releases Owens, who gives to Clark, who might be caught, who brushes off Williams. Back to Owens. Phillipou. Butler couldn't take it with him. Keeps on going. They've got numbers forward. Gresham over the back, rises, dragged down.
St.Kilda.
Jade Gresham will have just about the last kick of the game. He puts it through, and this is going to be a win for the Saints to savour. Unexpected, a depleted list. It's unbridled joy for Saints fans. And what a start for Ross. Back in charge with a few trusted lieutenants next to him.
Harvey, Hayes and Enright. He's got some talent, has he, at his disposal, Ross?
Well, if the injury list gets too significant, there are some pretty handy players in the coach's box. Well, this is something. These young Saints. Players for fans to pin their hopes on now. Ross Lyon said we just need to hold our breath for a month and wait to get some personnel back. The current personnel not doing such a bad job of it. Bailey Smith out of the middle. Who would have thought the Saints under Ross Lyon would be 2 and zip to start the season, having taken down the Dockers and now the Dogs. The Saints able to see off the Dogs, who fought back from 32 points down to get within 3. And then they took the momentum right back. The Saints win in commanding fashion. 51 points the margin. Sets up the week perfectly. The Saints formed April 1873, their 150th anniversary next week against the Bombers. They'll be 2-zip, Daisy Thomas.
They certainly will be, and a man who was pivotal tonight in both tonight's performance and last week. Dougal, 51 points tonight, but more importantly, your birthday today. Is this the greatest present you've got so far?
Yeah, Daisy, that's as good a birthday present as it gets. That's a good all-round performance from the boys. They were pushing us in the second quarter, and that second half, that was pretty special from our boys.
Talk to us about what we saw from this group tonight, because it felt like a bit of an evolution of what we saw last week. Last week, a gritty performance. Tonight, there was some real offense on the back of some great defense.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it's well known our injury list is quite big, and there's some young lads standing up. I thought the way Caminiti and Phillipou have gone in the last 2 weeks have set the tone for all us older boys. If they're doing it, we've got to do it. So certainly the grit, that's been the last 2 weeks what we've won off.
And what about Ross? He's obviously come back in. It was a big move to get him back. Are you loving what he's bringing?
Yeah, no, he's been unreal. He's stuck to the process all pre-season. No matter what's happened, as I said, with the injuries and whatnot, we've stuck to our process, and that's what's come out the last 2 weeks. So hopefully we can keep it going, mate.
Absolutely. Congratulations and happy birthday.
Thanks, mate.
It is the upset of the round so far. The depleted St. Kilda. They are 2-0 after defeating the Western Bulldogs by 51 points tonight at Marvel Stadium. This is post-game Saturday on Fox, brought to you by Care, Brad Johnson, Nick Dal Santo. This is an extraordinary story unfolding here tonight. I mean, this Saints side, they are undefeated under Ross Lyon 2.0, defeating the Dogs by 51 points. What a performance.
Seeing their system and the way that it worked tonight, it's a credit to Ross Lyon, the coaching staff, to set this group up so effectively, so quickly. The Bulldogs had no chance of breaking through it. They had a 10-minute patch in the second quarter that they were able to kick multiple goals. Other than that, they were strangled. They had no ability to get the ball in any dangerous positions by